Hello everyone, welcome to the Hindu analysis of 2nd December 2020. The first article which we are going to discuss is Delhi High Court asking the NCRB, that is the National Crime Records Bureau, to explain what are the measures or the steps that they have taken to recognize and classify transgenders as a separate third gender in annual publication of prison statistics in India. तो उन्होंने ये कहा था कि कितने ट्रांसजेंडर्स क्राइम में या प्रिजन्स में है और उनके लिए क्या क्या चीजें आप लोग किया था. आर यू गिविंग एनी स्पेशल प्रोविजंस टू देम like separate washroom facilities and any other facilities? Are you keeping them with in the male prison or in the female prison, or is there any separate entity for such people? All these details they have asked the Supreme Court, and the bench asked the additional solicitor general to take instruction on the issue by the date of next hearing. It was filed by a law graduate claimed that NCRB has continued to fail to include the third gender or the transgenders in the sex-wise statistics of the prison inmates all over India in its annual prison statistics India since the past 7 years. यानी कि पिछले 7 साल से ये जो प्रिजन स्टैटिस्टिक्स इंडिया इंडेक्स है उसमें इन लोगों का कोई किरदार नहीं था, यानी कि transgenders were not separately classified. So that's why now the court asked the NCRB, the National Crime Records Bureau, which publishes this result, to classify them. Next article, it is very important. China and Pakistan sign a military deal. Not an ordinary trade deal, this time it is a military deal. So that's why it is even more important. China and Pakistan have signed a new military memorandum of understanding to boost their already close defense friendship. यानी कि ऑलरेडी उन दोनों देशों के बीच में काफी ज्यादा डिफेंस को लेते हुए अच्छे रिलेशंस थी. अब उस रिलेशंस और भी ज्यादा आगे बढ़ाने के लिए उन्होंने क्या किया था, एक नए डिफेंस रिलेशनशिप को शुरू किया था. बोथ द कंट्रीज पुश द मिलिट्री टू मिलिटरी रिलेशनशिप, यानी कि दोनों के देश के बीच में ये जो मिलिट्री टू मिलिट्री, यानी कि इस देश के मिलिट्री से उस देश के मिलिट्री के बीच में जो कोऑपरेशन है उसको अगले लेवल पे या उसको हायर लेवल पे लेके जाने के लिए, उसको और भी ज्यादा बढ़ाने के लिए, and also jointly cope up. What do you mean by cope up? To overcome the risk and challenges and to firmly safeguard the sovereignty and security interests of the two countries and safeguard the regional peace and stability. 90% of the problems in the region of Southeast Asia or South Asia are caused by only these two countries. इंडिया से लेके अफगानिस्तान में भी पाकिस्तान इन्फ्यूज्ड टेररिज्म काफी ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करती है, and China has issues with almost all the South Asian nations regarding the South China Sea, because China is building a lot of artificial islands in this South China Sea, and that is seen as a really big risk by many other countries. So इसलिए इन दोनों देशों की जो पार्टनरशिप की बात की जा रही है वो और भी ज्यादा फोकस वाली बात है, क्योंकि उसके दौरान कुछ भी हो सकती है. Both exchanged their in-depth views on the international and regional situations and the relations between the two countries and militaries, the equipment and technology cooperation and other issues. क्योंकि पाक gets all its nuclear supplies majoritarily from China. पाकिस्तान के जितने भी न्यूक्लियर सप्लाईज है उनमें से मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द चंक कम्स ओनली फ्रॉम चाइना. सो दैट्स व्हाई it is even more important for India to keep an eye on these things. And the ongoing issues के बारे में भी इन लोगों ने काफी ज्यादा डिस्कस किया था, लेकिन वो एमओयू क्या थी, किस पर एमओयू साइन किया गया था, उसके बारे में हम लोगों के पास अभी कुछ जानकारी नहीं थे. And it follows a previous agreement which was signed last year when the China's vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, he visited Rawalpindi for a defense cooperation and capacity building of the Pakistan Army. यानी कि पाकिस्तान आर्मी को और भी ज्यादा बेटर बनाने के लिए, और भी ज्यादा फोकस्ड बनाने के लिए चाइना ने काफी कुछ किया था. और उसी दौरान जब पिछले बार चाइना के मिलिट्री का वाइस चेयरमैन आए थे तब कुछ एग्रीमेंट साइन किया गया था जहाँ पे कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग यानी कि पाकिस्तान आर्मी का और भी बढ़िया बनाने के लिए और भी बेहतरीन बनाने के लिए क्या क्या चीजें हैं और क्या क्या करना चाहिए उसके बारे में भी इन्होंने डिस्कस किया था. Now, they also discussed the ongoing projects under the China Pakistan Economic Corridor CPEC, which is completely objected by India because it goes through some part of Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir. So, Pakistan occupied Kashmir में से कुछ भाग चाइना को पाकिस्तान ने दे दिया था. So, India is objecting this saying that it is the sovereign land of India. ये हमारा देश का भाग है. This is part of India. You cannot take away it like that, and you cannot give it to some other country, is what India's stand is. And in this CPEC, China also doesn't want to make its hand dirty, and that's why it is involving Pakistani military in a very prominent role. CPEC में जहाँ से पीओके और बाकी एरिया से वहाँ पे पाकिस्तान मिलिट्री का किरदार जो है वो काफी ज्यादा बढ़ रहा है चीन के द्वारा, ताकि अगर कुछ ऊपर सीधा हुई और इंडिया से फिर बात करनी पड़ी चाइना को, then it can show that Pakistan is the culprit and not we. And recently, China conducted a comprehensive review of the CPEC projects with the head of CPEC authority. Recently, उनके बारे में कुछ रिव्यू मीटिंग्स भी चली थी, क्या करना था आगे, आगे जाके क्या करना पड़ेगा, ऑलरेडी हम लोग क्या किए थे, इन सारे चीजें डिस्कस किए थे. So that's why it is a very important update we have to look out for, because once it goes to China, then the dream of getting back the entire POK into India will never be fulfilled if it goes in the hands of China. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to iron brotherhood and all weather friendship. Iron brotherhood. This is something which shows their firmness. यानी कि कुछ भी हो जाए, लेकिन हम लोग हमारा जो दोस्ताना है, जो भाई भाई बोल के हम दोनों के बीच में एक रिश्ता बनाया गया था, उस रिश्ते को हम लोग हमेशा के लिए वही रखेंगे. एंड ऑल वेदर फ्रेंडशिप यानी कि बाकी देशों के बीच में कुछ भी हो, लेकिन हम दोनों के रिश्ता ऐसे ही होगा. सो दैट इज समथिंग विच दे हैव सेड. एंड पाकिस्तान आल्सो फर्मली सपोर्ट्स चाइना's stand on issues related to South China Sea, ताइवान, जिंजियांग, तिब्बत, जहां पे भी चाइना ने आक्रमण किया था, कब्जा किया था, उन सारे सिचुएशंस में पाकिस्तान चाइना को काफी ज्यादा सपोर्ट कर रही है. The two countries will further strengthen cooperation in the construction of the CPEC as well as the defense and security fields. जितने भी डिफेंस एंड सिक्योरिटी एस्टेब्लिशमेंट्स हैं वहां पे भी कंस्ट्रक्शन और बाकी चीजों में दोनों कंट्रीज और भी ज्यादा कोऑपरेट करेंगे. एंड द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान इमरान खान हैज कॉल्ड फॉर ए close strategic cooperation to raise the ironclad Pakistan-China brotherhood to a new height. यानी कि literally this indirectly shows the fear of India. भारत जब भी उनके दिमाग में आता है तो पाकिस्तान काफी ज्यादा डर रही है पिछले कुछ दिनों से, बिकॉज ऑफ द एंटी टेरर कॉल ऑफ इंडिया. कल के 1 दिसंबर के भी हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया था शंघाई कोऑपरेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, जहां पे हमारे वाइस प्रेसिडेंट जी पाकिस्तान को कैसे इनडायरेक्टली डांट रहे थे, हाउ ही वाज एक्सपोजिंग द डीड्स ऑफ पाकिस्तान इनडायरेक्टली विदाउट टेकिंग द नेम ऑफ पाकिस्तान. So even now Pakistan is fearing that India might take any severe action and they should be ready for that. And the only savior for them, एक ही देश जो उनको अभी सेव कर सकती है वो थी, what is that country? It's China. So that's why they want China to be more and more strategically involved in Pakistan so that it will be a safeguard for Pakistan. And China also firmly supports Nepal to safeguard its national independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, with the newspaper noting India's recent territorial dispute with Nepal in Kalapani. So, literally, what is happening here? China is supporting Nepal when there is a small dispute between India and Nepal regarding Kalapani. But one thing everyone should remember is the people of Kalapani, they want themselves to be part of India and not Nepal. So that's why it is even more important. China would continue assisting Nepal's military development contributing to the regional peace and stability, is what China said. Now, military to military relations were growing with the PLA. What is PLA? People's Liberation Army. China's national army is called People's Liberation Army. और इस पीपल लिबरेशन आर्मी का एयरफोर्स विंग जो है उसने काफी सारे प्रोटेक्टिव आउटफिट्स, मेडिकल मास्क एंड थर्मामीटर्स नेपालिस मिलिट्री को सेंड किया था, यानी कि वो इनडायरेक्टली नेपाल मिलिट्री को हेल्प कर रही है ताकि वो लोग इंडियंस को रोक सके, टू स्टॉप इंडियंस. That is the main motto of the Chinese in this particular scenario. And they also signed a 150 million yuan deal on military assistance. So literally what is China doing here? China is selling their military related equipment and all the other arms and ammunitions to Nepal, and it is provoking Nepal to fight more and more with India. Because of this, what happens? India will be having some pressure, and when India is having pressure, China can sell weapons to Nepal and also build relations with Nepal so that in a later day, when they want to take on India, when China wants to build more and more pressure on India, they can also have the help of Pakistan. So that is something which you have to understand in this article. The entire article is important in your GS2 IR perspective. Next article. GST inflows top 1 lakh crore for the second month in a row. So even in the November 2020, GST has crossed 1 lakh crore. That means that it is a sign of recovery for our economy. जब 1 लाख करोड़ हो रही है इसका मतलब क्या है दोस्तों? स्पेंडिंग इज increasing. When spending is increasing, naturally production will increase and the entire cycle of economy is on a positive growth. So this is something which is very good. But one thing is, it is higher than last year November's collection but lower than October's collection. So that is something again we need to see. But as it is showing some good positive signs, so that's why we should be feeling at least happy to some extent that our economy is boosting to something which is better than the previously estimated thing. The pickup in GST revenues over the last 2 months could reduce the shortfall in GST compensation dues to the states, but economics urged caution till December to assess if the economy is truly out of woods after the festive demand factor has played out. तो ये भी एक सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है दोस्तों, फेस्टिव डिमांड फैक्टर. बिकॉज दशहरा एंड दुर्गा पूजा, particularly in eastern part of India and southern part of India, Dasara and Durga Puja are two important festivals. नॉर्थ, बाकी नॉर्थ एंड वेस्टर्न इंडिया में भी दुर्गा पूजा सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, लेकिन उतना ज्यादा स्पेंडिंग नहीं होती है जितना यहाँ पे होती है. एंड इन नॉर्थ इंडिया इट इज दिवाली विच इज स्पेंट विथ इवन मोर ग्लोरी एंड विगर. सो दैट्स वाई ये जो फेस्टिव डिमांड का फैक्टर है अक्टूबर और नवंबर में, जब वो दिसंबर में, in December we don't have that big market, though there is Christmas market, but it is not to the extent of these three things. So that's why we should here remember that one, even the December also showed a similar upsurge, then we can say that our economy is reviving. So that is something which is important. And the November 2020 revenues are 1.4% higher than the same last year. So literally we have 1.4% increase in the GDP in November, when, sorry, in GST when compared to last year's money. So also the revenue imports was 4.9%, which is still higher. And there are lot of other things which are also influencing. Though the GST is increasing, the GST receipts are increasing, even the other important indices are also increasing. So that is something which we need to see over a period of time rather than month to month. So GST revenues has collapsed to just 32,172 crore in April this year because of economic activity crippled after the lockdown. तो 1 लाख करोड़ कहाँ और 32,000 करोड़ कम, यानी कि लिटरली it's only 30% of what we used to get every month. And the average pace of growth in GST collections is moderately healthy at 6%. यानी कि अगर 6% growth rate GST collection में है, it means indirectly there is a 6% growth in spending. So that is something which shows some growth rate even in GDP. The trends regarding the sustainability of demand will be clearer in the data on GST collection of December 2020, which will be for the transactions that took place in the month of November 2020. तो दिसंबर में अभी जो बाकी सारे डिटेल्स आएंगे तो उस हिसाब से हम लोग कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं कि क्या सच्ची में इकोनॉमी रिवाइव हो रही है या नहीं. सो दैट इज अ स्मॉल अपडेट रिगार्डिंग द जीएसटी एंड द स्टेट्स वेयर देर इज ए maximum growth rate या double digit growth rate in GST revenue is Andhra, Gujarat, Jharkhand and Tamil Nadu. So only these states there is a very high surge or the double digit growth rate in GST revenue as compared to 1 year ago. So this is something which is very encouraging and it would help in containing the shortfall of GST due to the pandemic. अगर हम क्योंकि हम लोग काफी ज्यादा लॉस फेस करना पड़ेगा इस पूरे फाइनेंशियल ईयर में, अगर उसमें थोड़े बहुत इंप्रूवमेंट आ गया है तो दैट विल बी अ रियली गुड रिलीफ फॉर बोथ द कंट्री and the government. And the cess is also higher when compared to the previous month. So overall it is a very good scenario. So let us hope that the economy does even better in the next coming months and there will be a complete nullification of the impact of COVID-19. Let's hope for the best. Next article is PMI. The Purchasing Managers Index is showing that the manufacturing is losing the steam. That means the Purchasing Managers Index is an index which shows the industrial activity in a month or in a year. तो यहाँ पे अभी फिलहाल जो नंबर है वो 56.3 है and it is shown that there is an improvement in the wider industrial activity and the industrial sector is expansion and the pace of new orders, यानी कि जो new orders आने की संख्या है वो भी कम हो गई है. सो दैट इज समथिंग अगेन ए मैटर ऑफ कॉशन. यहाँ पे हम लोग दो चीज देखना पड़ेगा. पहला क्या है, इंडस्ट्रियल एक्टिविटी बढ़ रही है लेकिन इस सेक्टर का एक्सपेंशन, न्यू ऑर्डर आने वाली पेस, वो दोनों क्या हो रही है, कम हो रही है. एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट आल्सो डिक्लाइन एंड business optimism faded during this month. So this is something which is even a bigger problem. Last month it was 58.9 which is highest in a decade, but in November it marked a 3 month low, यानी कि अक्टूबर में एक सर्ज आई थी, फिर नवंबर में a drop that is clearly evident in the purchasing managers index. So the growth in Indian manufacturing sector lost momentum in November, but the latest PMI reading was still consistent with a sharp rate of expansion. जैसे कि इंडस्ट्रियल एक्टिविटी और भी ज्यादा एक्सपेंड हो रही है, उस वजह से ये इंडेक्स जो है वो थोड़ा बहुत अच्छा दिखा रहा है, लेकिन एक्चुअल में द सिचुएशन इज इवन वर्स्ट. There were slower increases in factory orders, exports, buying levels, and output. So this is something which is very important because there is a second wave and lockdown in Europe, election in USA, election fever in USA. So these things also have hampered some of the industrial processes across the globe. So that is also one of the reason for the slowdown of the orders in November month. And the COVID-19 restrictions caused a further drop in payroll numbers. यानी कि जो इनकम लोगों को मिल रही थी इंडस्ट्री के द्वारा वो भी और कम पड़ गई है. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो ए मैटर ऑफ कंसर्न फॉर अस. Though aggregate new orders rose at the slowest pace in the last 3 months, their growth is stronger than any seen for 8 years prior to September. So this is a very contrary, yeah, a different statement. So the new orders are coming very slowly, but the growth in terms of the number of orders or the growth in terms of the expansion is something which is very significant. Export orders have also picked up last month as the purchasing managers of 4000 सॉरी 400 मैन्युफैक्चरर्स इट हैड सर्वेड, यानी कि पीएमआई जो 400 मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के बारे में सर्वे किया था वहां पे एक्सपोर्ट ऑर्डर्स भी थोड़ा बढ़ गया था. बट द एम्प्लॉयमेंट डिक्रीज अगेन एज कंपनीज ऑब्जर्व सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग गाइडलाइंस, यानी कि सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग गाइडलाइंस की वजह से कंपनीज को कम लोगों से मैनेज करना पड़ रहा है. सो उस वजह से एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी थोड़ा कम हो रही है. The rate of job shedding was solid. That means many people are losing jobs and it did not change much when compared to October. So as of now, the firms are projecting sustained demand growth in the near term and responded to this by lifting input buying to increase their safety stocks. So the companies they are playing it very safe. वो लोग जितना उनका डिमांड है उसी हिसाब से वो लोग बस प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं. कुछ बहुत ही ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन भी उन्होंने नहीं बढ़ाया था बिकॉज दे आर ऑल्सो हैविंग देयर ओन कंसर्न्स ऑफ the second wave and all the following things, and the firms increased the purchases of input even as the inventories of the finished goods dwindle, यानी कि उनका जो आउटपुट मार्केट है वो कम हो रही है लेकिन कई सारे कंपनीज ने क्या किया अपना जो इनपुट है उसको बढ़ा दिया. दैट इज दे आर होपिंग फॉर ए बेटर सिचुएशन इन द अपकमिंग डेज. सो दैट्स व्हाई दे हैव increased the procurement of resources even though there is a small gap in the output or their finished exports. The input cost also showed a sharp increase with the overall rate of inflation and the joint strongest in the 2 years. पिछले 2 साल से कंपेयर किए तो इन्फ्लेशन काफी हाई थी. ऑलरेडी इसके बारे में हम लोग जब एमपीसी के बारे में डिस्कस किए थे वहां पे मैंने बता दिया कि अक्टूबर एंड नवंबर आर 2 months which is showing the highest signs of inflation, and even in December first week we have the MPC monetary policy committee. In that we will see how this is happening and what is happening in this context. So because of the inflation many products which are supplying raw materials like chemicals, metals, plastics and textiles, all these products are showing a surge in the price because many manufacturers are buying it. So it is literally a gamble in this month's PMI. So the manufacturing sector is losing some demand but it is also building some more better infra and some better products or inputs for their own companies. So we have to see in the further months how it will continue. So while India's manufacturing sector remained on the recovery track, a spike in COVID-19 cases and a possibility of associated restrictions could undermine the recovery constituted, and it constitutes a key uncertainty that is weighing down the business confidence. क्योंकि second and third wave की बात जो हो रही है because the heart of the industrial activity like Delhi, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, UP, all these states they are having a very high surge of cases in these months. So that's why it is a matter of concern even for us. हम लोग भी इसको देखना पड़ेगा कि कैसा हो रहा है क्या हो रहा है. और businesses are also might be losing confidence because there might be some more restrictions to cover the pandemic. Business optimism faded slightly in November. Output growth is still predicted for the year ahead, but concerns about the public policies, rupee distribution, and the COVID-19 पैंडेमिक डैम्पेंड द ओवरऑल कॉन्फिडेंस. यानी कि पहले थोड़ा बहुत ये लोग अपना कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाते थे लेकिन अभी फिलहाल क्या हुआ है दोस्तों, as there are some issues associated with the fall of rupee, then along with fall of rupee there are other issues like public policies, and also there are speculations that maybe another wave of lockdown might be imposed. So all these things are affecting the business houses very severely. That is what this article is all about. So we should wait for 1 more month to see what impact it is going to bring. The next article which we are going to discuss is the violations in चारधाम project. इस आर्टिकल में एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट के द्वारा हाईलाइट किया गया कुछ पॉइंट्स के बारे में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. So the environmentalists have alleged that the contractors who were deputed by the गवर्नमेंट द्वारा नियुक्त किया गया जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स थे for making roads as part of Chardham project are violating the Supreme Court orders on appropriate road width to be followed in the mountainous terrain. यानी कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो आदेश थे कि कितना विड्थ माउंटेन्स में रोड बनानी चाहिए और बाकी जो चीजें हैं उन सारे चीजों को ये लोग वायलेट कर रहे थे, वो अब हाईलाइट किया गया था कई सारे एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट के द्वारा. सो द 12,000 crore project of roads where 825 kilometers of roads will be constructed connecting the key pilgrimage spots in Uttarakhand. So this is a very prestigious project of the government of India because Gangotri, Yamunotri, Badrinath and Kedarnath, these four are together called as Chardham, and these four will be connected through a road because as of now people should walk for tens of kilometers or they have to take very high costing helicopters for this purpose now. But now what these people are planning, and already the construction has started, is a road connectivity to the Chardham Yatra. But the implementation has been very controversial, with environmentalist groups pointing out that hill cutting was rampant, with mountain ecosystems being irreversibly harmed in the process. यानी कि काफी सारे हिल्स को कट कर रहे हैं ये लोग उनके रोड बनाने के लिए, और उस वजह से irreparable damage is happening to the mountain ecosystem is what the environmental activists are talking about. And the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, who is the coordinator for the project, in an affidavit to the Supreme Court has denied any such violation. यानी हमारे मिनिस्ट्री ने कहा था कि ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, हम लोग जो एनवायरमेंटल परमिशन है वो सब ले लिए थे और जो भी वहां पे चाहिए उस हिसाब से ही हम लोग कर रहे हैं. वी आर नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग मोर और लेस. Details of vulnerable sites and areas of muck disposal were provided to the Supreme Court constituted high power committee. यानी कि जहां जहां पे vulnerabilities काफी सारे हैं, क्योंकि if you see the videos of vehicles going in those areas, literally it is a terrific view. People will be frightened because it is roughly a 30 to 40 feet road and vehicles coming from one side and other going on other lane, and also the steep curves where only one vehicle can turn at a time are so frightening to see. So that is something which is a matter of concern, and that's why it requires a lot of cutting of hills and other things, and that may cause damage to the environment. But here the government is saying that we have taken out all the measures to safeguard the environment. The HPC, the High Power Committee, has tasked with the preparing a plan to implement the project with minimal ecological damage, has seen internal dissent with members split on the appropriate load width. यानी कि ये जो कमिटी बनाई गई थी कि आप बताइए कितना विड्थ होना चाहिए इस प्रोजेक्ट का या रोड का लेंथ कितना होना चाहिए, बाकी सारे डिटेल्स के बारे में जब इनको पूछा गया था यहाँ पे, तब जब ये सारे डिटेल्स पूछे गए थे तो कमिटी में ही एक डिस्टरबेंस आई थी. यानी कि कुछ लोग बोल रहे थे एक और कुछ लोग बोल रहे थे कुछ और. So majority of the members said that it should be 12 meters, but the other people are saying that it should not be 12 meters. Uniform throughout 5.5 meter width is enough. So this is something which is very important. And the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways in its latest affidavit says that out of the 825 kilometers, 12 km of formation cutting had already been carried out in the 537 kilometer in a sanctioned length of 662 kilometers before the Supreme Court order that recommended a road width suggested by the chairman of HPC and the minority of HPC members. तो यहाँ पे इन्होंने क्या कहा था, 662 किलोमीटर्स का ऑलरेडी सैंक्शन है, उसमें से 537 किलोमीटर्स में सिर्फ 12 किलोमीटर्स का फॉर्मेशन कटिंग ऑलरेडी हो चुकी है जो ऑलरेडी सजेस्टेड थी. नाउ the opposite terms, they are saying that the road transport ministry whatever it is saying is completely false, and the environmentalists have evidence of several stretches of hill cutting underway. यानी कि वो लोग कह रहे थे कि हम लोगों के पास और भी ज्यादा सबूत है, और भी ज्यादा एविडेंसेस है जहां पे हम लोग प्रूव कर सकते हैं कि इनके बोलने से भी कई सारे ज्यादा तक वायलेशंस की गई थी. एंड देयर वाज स्लोप कोलैप्सेस एंड 2 crew वर किल्ड ड्यूरिंग रूटीन मक डंपिंग. यानी कि जो इन वेस्ट वहां पे प्रोड्यूस होती है उसको डंप करने की प्रोसेस में 2 लोग ऑलरेडी मर गए थे, एंड दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ disturbing the ecosystem is what these people are saying. Now the Supreme Court has postponed it, and it will again decide the next date of hearing regarding this violations. Next article is about the BrahMos missile. Naval version of the BrahMos tested from warship in Bay of Bengal. So BrahMos is a missile which is developed with Russian collaboration. So in BrahMos, Brah means Brahmaputra, Mos is Moskos. Both rivers, Brahmaputra river and Moskos river, these two rivers names are taken for naming of the BrahMos missile. The naval version of BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. Supersonic means it goes beyond the speed of sound. Cruise missile means it can be launched from even a ship. It was successfully testified by the Indian Navy in Bay of Bengal as a part of series of trails being carried out by the 3 services. A similar test firing of the missile was conducted by the Indian Navy in the Arabian Sea 6 weeks back. So, अब अगर BrahMos is one of the most successful indigenously developed missile, though with the Russian partnership, many countries purchase BrahMos missiles from India so that they can also strengthen their own defense. Now, this is a joint venture between India and Russia. BrahMos Aerospace produced a supersonic cruise missile that can be launched from submarines, ships, aircrafts, and even the land platforms. The test firing of the missile is successful. The Indian Army already testified the surface-to-surface BrahMos missile, and it flies at a speed of 2.8 Mach, which is almost 3 times the speed of sound. Speed of sound is considered as 1 Mach. The speed of sound in air is considered as a Mach. Now, the new land attack version of the missile, its range is increased to 400 kilometers. Initially, it was 290 kilometers. पहले उसका रेंज होती थी 290 किलोमीटर्स, लेकिन अब उसका रेंज बढ़ गई थी 400 किलोमीटर्स के लिए. सो दैट इज अनदर मेजर इंपॉर्टेंट improvement in this BrahMos missile. And this BrahMos missile, it is aimed at bolstering the overall capability of the force. यानी कि जब ये BrahMos missile एयरफोर्स, नेवी और आर्मी तीनों में इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा तो तीनों और भी ज्यादा स्ट्रेंथन होंगे. इंडिया हैज ऑलरेडी डिप्लॉयड ए sizable number of BrahMos missiles and other key assets in several strategic locations along the line of actual control with China in Ladakh and also in Arunachal Pradesh. In the last 2.5 months, India has testified a number of missiles, including anti-radiation missile, which is named as Rudram 1, which is planned to be inducted into the service by 2022. अगर आप पिछले 2-3 महीने के न्यूज़ पढ़ेंगे तो हर 5-6 दिन में कुछ ना कुछ टेस्टिंग हो रही है, and that is something which we will discuss even in the science and technology part. So these missiles, why are we testing so rapidly? The obvious reason is the first article which we have discussed today, that is the China Pakistan friendship and their growing problems in the border areas. Indian Air Force on October 30 testified the air launched version of the weapon from Sukhoi fighter jet in the Bay of Bengal. So Air Force tested, Army tested, now Navy also tested. The IAF is also integrating the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile on over 40 Sukhoi fighter jets, which are aimed to bolster the overall combat capability of the force. Let us say, for example, if Abhinandan Vartaman, if he had this Sukhoi with installed BrahMos, then within one click he would have destroyed the entire fleet of Pakistani fighter jets. So that is something which is very much significant. It would have been a tremendous thing. So that's why increasing our capabilities in these times of need is also very important, and naturally it becomes an important aspect of your examination. The next article which we are going to discuss about is the editorial. So regional priorities, यहाँ पे कल के न्यूज़पेपर में हम लोग डिस्कस किए थे वेंकैया नायडू जी गोइंग टू द शांघाई कोऑपरेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. So this article is about the SCO and its importance and few analysis. 3 years after joining the 8 nation SCO, India hosted the SCO heads of the government meeting for the first time on Monday. The focus of the 66-point joint communique, that is the joint statement at the end of virtual conference, was developing a plan of priority practical measures for 2021-22 to overcome the socio-economic, financial and food consequences of COVID-19 in the region. बहुत ज़्यादा बातें इसमें की गई थी. So there were a lot of things which were mentioned in this particular article. So the joint statement at the end of the virtual conference focused on plan of priority and also the practical measures for next upcoming financial year to overcome the socio-economic, financial and food consequences because of the COVID-19. But there are few persisting differences between the members countries. Members committed to strengthening multilateralism and the UN Charter while welcoming the fact that grouping is now being seen as an influential and responsible participant in the modern system of international relations. See, wherever we have India, China, then literally we are having one third of world's population or even more. Out of the 7.5 billion, we have 2.5 billion population in India and China together, or even 3 billion. So literally we are having up to 40% of world's population. So that's why no international grouping in which both India and China are part can be ignored. So that's why the meeting is very important. Though the members have committed to improve the international relations, but it is very clear that there were a lot of differences between the member countries, which in this meeting is significantly highlighted. Although it is the head of the government council that consists of prime ministers of all the SCO countries, Narendra Modi ji and also the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan did not attend the meet because there is a protocol mismatch between the position of PMs in parliamentary democracies and that in the Soviet bloc in China. यानी कि ये जो parliamentary democracies है like India and Pakistan, these prime ministers are far more influential and more powerful than the prime ministers of China and the Soviet countries. So that's why there is a protocol mismatch, and that is the reason why our prime minister and the Pakistani prime minister did not go. Modi was represented by the vice president who made very strong observations on cross-border terrorism. He called it the SCO region's biggest challenge in comments aimed at Pakistan. यानी कि SCO का biggest challenge क्या है? Cross-border terrorism and also to curb the terror financing. That is what highlighted by our Honorable Vice President Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji. Pakistan representative also spoke about the need to combat what she called the state terrorism, and she referred to Jammu and Kashmir. This is also something which we have already discussed in yesterday's video. SCO is a rare forum where India Pakistan troops take part in joint exercises under the RATS regional anti-terror structure, that is RATS. So though both the countries have not been coming closer in any of the issues, but this is one RATS organization where India and Pakistan together participate in the exercises. There is no statement or no mention of terrorism in both the contexts. So it only focused only on the trade and economic issues. India also marked its differences with China over the Belt and Road Initiative by not joining other SCO members in a paragraph endorsing the BRI. So, what is BRI? Belt and Road Initiative. It is one of the strategic schemes of the Chinese government in which China is building roads, ports, etc. And this is seen as a threat because it is surrounding India in all directions, and that is seen something which is a strategical threat to India. So that's why India did not join the Belt and Road Initiative, and also in the statement where the Belt and Road Initiative paragraphs are mentioned, India did not mention anything about it. And our Vice President very clearly made a pitch for transparent and trustworthy trade practices seen as a sidebar aimed at China. So, literally, indirectly, he has aimed at China, saying that we should be more and more transparent and trustworthy in terms of trade practices that will be beneficiary for all the people in our grouping, is what he has said. And the SCO is providing a convenient channel for all the trade and strategic ties because China, India, and Russia, where India has majority of the imports from China and Russia, this is something which is very much strategic. Regardless of the differences, the Modi government has consistently maintained the importance of SCO grouping, referring it to the Asian NATO, although it does not mandate any security alliances. NATO is purely a security alliance which is dominated by US, but it has emerged to a greater level playing field in the mid of 20th century, that is around 1950s to 70s. Similarly, Narendra Modi called SCO as an Asian NATO despite SCO did not have any military or security alliance. SCO is one of those few regional structures India is a part of because already SARC lost its significance. The Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean Initiative, it is nowhere in place, and the RCEP, India did not want to join RCEP, so that is again another problem. The SCO provides India a convenient channel for its outreach in both trade as well as strategic ties with the Central Asian communities because four important Central Asian countries, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, these four countries are part of this, so that's why it become very strategic. And the biggest problem for India, China and Pakistan both are members of this organization. So India can use this platform for any kind of bilateral discussions or off the record discussions between the member countries so that we can resolve some disputes with these countries. The government had many meetings with Pakistan for the last 5 years only in the SCO because we are actually having lot of troubles with the Pakistan. Pakistan is not changing its attitude towards terrorism. India is completely countering and very strongly countering these deeds of Pakistan. So that's why it has been a matter of discussion for the past many years. But India and China are maintaining some good relations despite there are a lot of problems between the countries. Now, India used SCO for talks with China as a very good productive thing because here there will be lot of things which will be kept on the place for discussion. Here the defense and the finance ministers of both the countries have met on the sidelines of SCO meets and they have discussed a lot of very important strategic things to strengthen the relation between the countries. Above all, SCO has been seen as a grouping worth pursuing as it retains India's geopolitical balance, a useful counterpoint to New Delhi's otherwise much more robust relations with the Western world. Hosting the SCO meeting was one of the more important steps towards the engagement because at present India is more and more inclined towards the Western world, which is a truth because we have been very significant ties with the USA. We are also very good ties with France. We have a new relation with Israel. We also have some good relations with UK and also Germany. So this is something we are talking about only the Western countries. But what about the Eastern worlds? Even Japan is a country, and also the Australia, we have very good relations. But in the region of Southeast Asia and South Asia, the one only big grouping in which India is a member is SCO, because already I told SARC lost its significance. BIMSTEC did not have much importance. ASEAN, India is not a member country. RCEP, though they offered, India did not join. So literally it ends up with SCO being the only influential body in this area. So that's why it is very important for us to understand the repercussions of India to be member of SCO and utilizing this opportunity. So that's it for the day, guys. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.